Thank you, Sridhar. Perfect, thanks. So yeah, Katie touched upon Berlin being the city of projects, right? And hopefully by the end of this talk, you'd be adding to that pool of projects as well. But let's go. First up, when I was preparing for this presentation, it reminded me of something that I'm very used to doing, and that's writing 5-minute songs. And but at the same time, the 15-second thing was a little suspect, so it was definitely a little different. But that's me, basically. That was me playing a show in Singapore about 2 years back, and I got to that point from being this guy in a bedroom just noting along on the guitar, learning on the internet. And the cool thing is, you can do that too. But first, a story about the origin of the universe. So the Bible says, first there was a word, and everything else ensued from that. Well, if Jesus is not your friend, you can probably look to the East, and Tantric Buddhism and Hinduism have similar philosophies about sound. Another story? Did you know that musical notes are actually not man-made things? They are very accurate derivatives of mathematical equations. So there's something beautiful and natural that's going on in the world of sound and music. Why learn music? Well, put it simply, it makes you smarter, it adds to your discipline, and it reduces your stress levels. By the way, these are not theories that I made up, these are theories that have been scientifically proven. And also, this is a street in Rio, by the way, in Brazil, and crime rates were incredibly high here, and instead of trying to get cops to stop the situation, they actually put a music school in the middle, and guess what? Crime rates dropped 20%. Because people felt a sense of achievement just playing music. That's amazing. And finally, it gives you a voice in this world of noise and saturation, and social media always helps you to have something different, and it makes you a more social person, and I don't mean that social, although that probably happens as a side effect as well, which is pretty cool. So some of you may know this guy. This is David Byrne of the Talking Heads, and he's got this amazing book out, and there's an entire chapter in this book that's just dedicated to the amateur, and he says anybody can write a beautiful song and move people. And what is music to your brain? Well, essentially, it's a sound that's like a magic pill that just transcends your logical system and goes straight to your emotional core. And it's absolutely magical when that happens. But if you try and break that magic down and into its individual components, you see that there's rhythm and melody. But the interesting thing about this, it's beautiful, yet it's futile in trying to do that because rhythm and melody can't exist without each other. So they're dependent, yet they're independent in a way. And of course, there are more elements to music, as always, there's space and texture. And again, the amazing thing is, if you put these different words together, so you have a musical idea with a different sense of space, or a different melody, or a different rhythm and different texture, you're going to get something completely different. There's so many elements of music. But the most important thing, really, in order to build musical ability, is to listen. So until the next slide changes, let's listen. Wow. But anyway, getting to the myths. There are a lot of myths around there. First one being, I don't have any time to learn music. That is not true. If you have enough time to brush your teeth every day, or if you have time to brush your shoes or check your email, you have enough time to play a musical instrument or pick up music. Second, I'm tone deaf. There's not a single person in this room who's tone deaf, and I can prove that to you because if you were tone deaf, you would not be able to recognize if the other person on the end of the line was your mother-in-law or your girlfriend. And that would be evolutionary failure. Myth number 3, I'm not good enough. That's not true. Again, referring to the point of the amateur, anybody, given a good set of musical vocabulary, can put together something that's deeply emotional and moving. And myth number 4, I'm too old or I'm too young. Well, while it's true that your body deteriorates over time, you also have something called muscle memory. And the more effort you put into building your muscle today, your muscles sort of retain that over very, very long periods of time. And so if I need to learn to read music to play music, well, I'm somebody who can't read music to save his life, but I believe I can still play music to an audience and move them. And finally, so you have a lot of these practical and emotional benefits of learning music, but the most important thing is really to make things easier for yourself in a way. So whether that's putting your instrument right next to your bed so you play it before you sleep, or learning with a friend, or just hanging out with like-minded people, I think making things easier goes a really, really long way. And here's some ideas. Start small. Don't expect to play Chopin's Fourth Ballade first time you pick up a piano. Not going to happen. Combine learning with fun, record yourself and learn digital audio workstations. A lot of you are computer savvy, so that makes things so much easier. And finally, let's do this. I mean, there's no reason not to build musical ability. Listen not just to music, to sounds around you, like you just did, and make it easier for yourself. On that note, thank you.